Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, a deadly fire in the Usindiso building in the Joburg CBD has raised awareness of fire safety in the city. Right now, an inquiry into the blaze is underway. The first public hearings heard that emergency services encountered as they entered the property. They encountered a lot of issues. It's not the first major blaze in Joburg, with the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital also going up in smoke in 2021, or at least a section of it. Let's find out how prepared the city is to respond to fires from City of Joburg Firefighter Zandile Nkosi. Zandile, thank you so much for your time. Let's start with, whether or not we are seeing more fires indeed in Joburg. Is it on the increase, the number of fires that you respond to in the city of Joburg, or is it a matter of more people posting on social media and therefore there's more awareness?
Thank you for having me this side. Okay, most of the time it's people having a content. Social media is the one that is making people not to be able to say, before we didn't have that. Now it's content. Because even if a person is in an accident, instead of them calling first and saying that there's this happening, they will make content, and then after that's when we'll be able to say, okay. But fires are there. We most of the time have to go to calls like 3 in a day. If not, the minimum it would be 2. But fires are very rampant in Joburg,
sure,
especially in the high-rise buildings.
That's quite a huge concern. I mean, you say that it's something that happens often in high-rise buildings. That's what we see in the Joburg CBD. We saw what happened at Usindiso. Is it usually of that magnitude?
Those are seldom.
Okay.
It's not every time that you'll find such fires of that magnitude. And mostly houses, when they burn, you find that it's a certain room that is burning. Yeah. If they called on time and not tried to extinguish the fire by themselves, when we get there, we are able to save that house. Then we deal with that section that is burning. And when it gets to be like that, it gets us really worked up, that how did it get to that? But the adrenaline pushes us until we make sure that we save other people's properties not to get engulfed by that fire.
I've always wondered, how it is to be a firefighter. I mean, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you don't know if you're going to come back to your family. Tell us a bit more about that and some of the, fires that have stayed in your mind because of trauma that you covered or your colleagues covered.
We are covered. Most of the time when we go to the fire, as we go there, we know each person that is going to be in that vehicle. What is it that you're going to do for the day? We have a driver, we have an officer, we've got the crew of 4. If not the crew of 4, it's a crew of 5. If it's a crew of 5, 2 will go in as a first crew. Maybe you attack from the other side and the other crew from the other side. Whilst the officer is making rounds and trying to see what is happening, the crews already has prepared, out with the hoses, out with everything that is ready. We find ourselves with 2 hoses waiting. The driver is the pump driver, and maybe the 5th crew person will go out to look for the hydrant. And then as we go in, the vehicle has the fire, the water. And then we go in fighting that fire. The crew that is helping the driver with the hydrant is going to connect with the water. And then we just go inside. Now, when we get inside, we know who's where, how, when, and if there's entrapments, that's when we know that, okay, the first crew that went in will be the extinguishing crew, and the second crew will be the one that rescues the people that will be inside.
But I can imagine how painful it is, for instance, like the Lisbon building, that health department building where you lost your colleagues.
Yeah, that one really hit hard. It hit hard because those were the crews that okay, in my case, we were leaving in the morning, getting off in the morning, the shift that was in, we relieved us. Before I could get home, we were told that there's a fire at a certain place. Then we just had to dress up, go there, go back there, without having to think twice because of whatever that was happening there. When we heard that there were entrapments and one of our firefighters has fallen, it really, it got to us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It got to us.
And sometimes it's something that you block out, I can imagine.
Yeah, we do. I did. I did. But most of the time, because their pictures are there.
Yes.
When you pass there, you kind of go.
There's a memorial, yeah.
Yo, bro.
You know, I like the fact that you talk about, you know, entrapments and how you guys have this adrenaline that just pushes you to keep going. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to choose, there's a child involved, an adult, and now you have to choose, do I save the child first? Do I save, you know, do you ever find yourself in those situations? Or it's just every human out?
Most of the time, like I said, if the two crews that goes in first, they're fighting the fire, and they will be saying that there's entrapment. The crews that will be outside will come in with maybe the tools to break the doors, do this, do that. And then if we cannot go in, even the crews that went out first, the first crew that cannot go in. The other crew, when they come in, we cut off everything. We all go in, save everyone. It's not
a matter of choosing, I guess.
We cannot really choose, because I saved that child. And leave the mother there. Who's going to look after the child?
True. Just very quickly, and my last question to Zandile. I know that, you know, V is going to shout at me. She's in my ear telling me I'm running out of time. You know, we looked at those more than 70 bodies sprawled across the street at Marshalltown at Usindiso. Do you get counseling? I know that it's something that probably hits you after because the adrenaline is so immense. But are you offered counseling to just, you know, debrief?
We do debrief. At the same time, we find ourselves being the ones that are talking with amongst ourselves. Like, what makes you not to be able to deal with that, and what makes you not to be able to deal with that? We do a one-on-one, and they will send us someone that's going to be helping us as well.
Well, listen, you are part of our heroes and heroines. Thank you for all the work that you try to do to try and save some lives. Thank you for your time as well and for coming in. I know you've had a long morning because you're from shift. Sis Zandile Nkosi, a City of Johannesburg firefighter.